Thank you for tuning in to our show. My name is Nnamdi.
My name is Vincent, you?
And we're going to be reacting to some UFC videos. I don't really know a lot of UFC mixed martial arts.
Oh.
I'm interested. So
I've been watching for so long. I started watching in the beginning when Horace Gracie was fighting the first time.
Horace Gracie?
Yeah.
Horace is, so how long ago was that really?
Probably 20, 30 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, what happened was Brazil, they accepted Japanese jiu-jitsu and they made it their own. And plus Japan, because of jiu-jitsu, was learned so without weapon. So when they lose a weapon, they use jiu-jitsu to subdue the person or their person. So when they have a sword, they hide and get the sword, get it out, and seduce them without the weapon.
Right.
So that's what they learned. So all this year, because Japan was into that very long feudal time, it's a war country, samurais and all that. So their techniques mastered by killing, and their martial arts is very different to other country.
Yeah. So they got really good at mixed martial arts versus using weapons.
Before, yes. So without weapon, they could fight. So Japan, they use judo now, jiu-jitsu, ninjutsu. They also have, they use kendo also, but majority.
Are these different types of mixed martial arts?
It's not mixed martial arts. They are traditional martial arts. But now the world, because of the Brazilian jiu-jitsu that Horace Gracie's dad learned from the Japanese guy a long time ago, he accepted in Brazil society, and then he made it into their own. And because Brazilians have probably better body features, long arms, long limbs, they made it better, I think. So they actually used that, and then he became first UFC contender, and he became a champion because other people had no idea how to defend it from it.
I'm always fascinated when people come from other countries that are, they've probably been fighting all their lives. And it's interesting to me that they can carry those same skills and bring it to a UFC, into a more controlled environment where not only do they have an opportunity to be a UFC champion, which is a really good brand, they also stand to increase their popularity. They can sell, they can profit from building a brand.
Big money, yeah.
So, I stories like the kid from Russia.
You mean Dakistan, the guy champion?
Yeah, the champion from.
Yeah, I forgot the name. Yeah.
And there's even recently with Francis Ngannou.
Yes.
And his entire story moving from Cameroon to the United States.
Well, the Cameroon has a martial arts, their own martial art, the wrestling and all that. But mostly they use all different kind of martial art, which is kind of proven. So I noticed, like even just 30 years ago, when they first did the mixed martial art, nobody knew what they're doing. Maybe one guy learned boxing, one guy learned wrestling, you know, and they weren't really killers back then. When you see them, the wrestler, the Dan Severn, he was just an American wrestler, big guy.
Dan Severn?
Dan Severn.
Okay.
He was a wrestler. He became number one. He lost to Horace Gracie because of Horace Gracie learned the jiu-jitsu, which is a killing technique.
Yeah.
Because when the samurai time, Japan really had to learn. Small guy without a weapon, he had to learn how to kill a person. So it's choking involved. But before this, people just fist fight, And then one guy who knows wrestling probably put him down.
Yeah.
But they didn't know how to really choke people out or break the limb or arm lock, leg lock. And even me, when I was younger, I learned Taekwondo, and maybe when I was 30, I learned Jiu-Jitsu. I really learned, you could break their bones that way.
Yeah, because that's what people normally just learn.
It's crazy. But now, the new fighters, they're 10 times better fighters. Back then, just come out big, sumo wrestler come out and just get hit by the nose and they just get knocked out because they were trying to do this instead of boxing.
Okay.
So boxers knocked them out, And then when the boxer got up there, jiu-jitsu guy come, dodge, get his back, put him down, choke him out. So usually when they go back to wrestling is very important, I think. So when they go back to the choking area and do the lock, once they get the lock, it's almost over.
Yeah.
And really wrestling don't have that. Jiu-jitsu has that.
When I watch wrestling, it's more like a show. Like they're putting on, it's more like a dance. And when you practice that dance multiple times, and different people have different styles, and you have an opponent that's equally willing to do the dance in their
professional
own way.
wrestling
I don't really take it seriously.
No.
Compared to boxing or like what I would consider real body contact sports, like martial arts.
Well, I think I did a lot of martial arts, but I think the best one, the beginning to learn is judo. Judo, I'm Korean actually, but I mean Japan really made a lot of martial arts. That's
Okay.
really
So
good.
it really originated from Japan.
Japan, I think more in grappling, and also maybe some wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling. And I think anything hitting, I think Muay Thai, the Thailand, they mastered that, I think. Because once they take out the sword, it was a battle country with Cambodia and Vietnam and Thailand. They were always battling. So once the sword gets broken or something, they had to use elbows and knees. But Japan actually really got into judo and jiu-jitsu. So I give that credit. I give them a lot of credit.
Okay, so we're gonna be reacting to this fight. It's Yair Rodriguez versus Korean Zombie.
Yeah, Korean Zombie, Jongchan.
All right, let's
all he can handle. And I think a big part of it was because he didn't stand in there and exchange with them like a lot of other fighters.
Well, Yair is
Whenever
really
Gonzalez
very,
came,
very,
instead of going back and forth and fighting that dangerous 50-50,
They're both
nimble
he
guys.
got out and used his legs and was able to use his legs really well. Just
Yair, his kicking is awesome. He was just so good. But
I'm guessing on what's coming next.
in the beginning,
It was a very
I think Johnson has a better
This wasn't
punching.
a guy who was
rocked him.
throwing
Yeah,
wild
he's really
strikes.
better
Wasn't,
at boxing.
Multiples like we've seen before. He
Yeah,
was taking
really-
his time,
he's got good
looking for
take.
the opening.
Yes.
It was a more mature
Overhand.
Yair Rodriguez.
Well, Jongchan,
It could have been the fact
the
that it
Korean
was,
Zombie was
at
a
elevation,
champion
able to
figure.
handle his fight. Maybe
He
not
just
a lot of
lost
trust in
to
his gas, but he was fighting
Jose
a
Aldo.
very efficient
Because
fight
he
and
had a
waiting
shoulder
for his moments.
broken.
I thought
Well,
he was
until
losing
then, he
rounds.
was
I
winning
thought he was
actually
behind
at
in
the
this
end.
fight, and he
Yeah, his bleeding
when he
knocked him
needed
out.
the
But see right there,
knock, this guy was
it
impossible.
was a back
Yeah, I agree with you.
reverse
I think
elbow.
that if it had gone to
Yeah.
decision,
So
it probably
all
was
this time,
going to go
Jongchan
Korean
thought
Zombie. Now,
he
I
was
did hear
winning.
from
So just
a little birdie
getting
told me
forward.
that Yair Rodriguez
And then when he
actually
hit
suffered
from
with
the,
some,
see the back?
Yeah.
during camp.
He
and
walked
right into it.
Right into it.
trained
That's
where
how he lost.
wanted to, but maybe
It
that's
was
why
actually a really
the first
lucky
couple rounds
one
gave him a little
because
bit of a
yes,
feeling out
anybody
process.
could have
When he realized
fallen
he could
for
handle
that.
it, turned
Yeah,
out
of course.
again.
But
Yeah, you could
Yair
tell
is just
he
so
was,
flexible.
really
How many people could duck and just come out of the back? That's crazy.
Elbow someone from behind.
And I think because of the Jongchan Song's confidence, just, I got this. He was winning by points. Just forward
he didn't
and
have the real
and
estate that he
hit by
normally
that.
have to walk his opponents down.
Yeah, fight you never know until the end. Yeah.
That's right. Especially when you have really good fighters
Yes.
who have pretty much very similar styles, and they're going at each other pound for pound.
Oh, UFC at that weight, I mean, and if you're top 10, they're like machines. And they know exactly what they're coming. And these guys go out in the street, they'll kill so many people.
Right.
It's just that it's a luck too sometimes. I remember one guy was really good, and he kicked somebody, and he broke his shin bone. He lost. You never know. Even the kickboxing people, they just kick wrong and hit the wrong bone, and you actually break your whole shin bone, and you lose the fight. Whole leg come up. Remember Anderson Silva?
Yeah.
His leg just came off.
Well, that's the same thing that happened to Conor.
Yes,
Last
could
fight.
happen. When it's a hairline fracture, you gotta get a rest. So when they're in Thailand, when they kick every day, all the young kids have hairline fracture. They let it heal a little bit and then do it again. You don't let it heal because a fight's coming up. You still gotta train.
Right.
And then when you hit the wrong spot, that thing just
It'll break it again.
Yeah, it's brutal. This is a brutal fight, especially at top 10. Oh yeah.
Now, I can't help but just want to get into the heads of fighters. Why would a young person want to get into a sport knowing the risk, the level of risk that's involved in a very violent sport, like where you have someone who is very well trained, who sees you as a target, and they've watched your film, and they're coming with the intent to destroy you.
Yes.
But you still sign up for that.
Well, not everybody has that idea. So let's say what happened to Zhang Chansong, he was just a normal guy. But one day he felt like he's too weak and family sent him to martial art. When he went there, he excelled. When people start doing good because somebody say they'll praise you. So when you went to tournament for the first time when it was yellow belt or whatever, and then you do a little bit, oh, gold medal. What do you do next? Oh, I gotta do better. So you're going to bigger tournament. Most people are grown like that, like all those champions wrestlers.
Yeah.
They're all gold medalists or whatever. Even that there's a wrestling champion guy who was a gold medalist in Olympics, and when you're that good, why don't I put that in mixed martial art, paying like $100,000, $200,000 a fight?
Okay.
So
I mean, yeah, even though they were training for a different sport, it transfers to a different, especially UFC will pay them.
Yes.
It's a profession.
But they said that the hitting people, let's say like karate, Muay Thai, whatever, do they have actually, kickboxing people? Usually kickboxing people, they said they come to the mixed martial art, they don't do well. It's mostly grapplers who excel in grappling. Because look at the fights, they take them down, put them in and pound them.
Yeah.
So probably the best way is probably grapplers learning how to hit, and then dive and put them down, and then execute. That's usually the fighters. That's good.
So you're saying most of the fight is won on the ground.
1-to-1, you're that good. At the end, you're gonna go down, unless he knocks you out. The other guy knocks you out, you're done. But if you're really good at grappling, you maneuver 1 time or 2 times, put him out on the ground. And then with the elbow, you pound them. UFC actually you could hit people with an elbow. A lot of the other fighters you can't do that. You gotta use your fist. With a glove, it's hard to hit. But when you ground it, you grab it, you pound it. That's dead.
That's a really, really sharp bone. I don't want anyone hitting me with an elbow.
Oh my God.
And I've seen people in UFC getting hit, like taken out completely.
Yeah. But I mean, some of the second biggest fighting places, one championship, they actually, kick somebody in the head with a foot when they're down. So they have different rules.
Yeah, there's different rules.
Yeah, but UFC is one of those rules that you actually could hit with the elbow. That's really deadly. Yeah.
You did touch on the Olympics, that people train for the Olympics and they eventually go into UFC.
Oh yeah.
I've always felt like the Olympics was a waste of time and money. If you think about the fact that, think about how long these people train for the Olympics and they finally make it to the Olympics. They don't get paid unless they have endorsement dollars. They don't have a salary, and it doesn't necessarily translate to a better economical life for them.
Well, it depends on certain country. So yeah, a certain country, you win a medal. Oh, they pay you maybe $50,000.
That's my point. But you trained all your life to do this.
I mean, if you're gold in the Olympic, you're number 1 in the world. That area, nobody's better than you. You Greco-Roman wrestler got number 1 gold. Nobody could take you down. But problem with mixed martial arts, they'll kick you. so you could be the number 1 wrestler, but you have to learn other stuff too. The Cejudo, the number 1 gold medalist who became the champion.
I don't know who Cejudo. You're dropping all these names.
Yeah, he was champion like a year ago, and he was number 1. So every time somebody tried to hit him, he'll probably hit a couple times, but he'd take them down and pummel them. So you're number 1 if you're number 1 in Olympics. But there's so many other cases, kicking or choking. Wrestling don't have choking.
No, you can't choke.
I'm saying
there's only certain types of hits that are allowed.
I mean, I think for you to be number 1 fighter, it has to be probably jiu-jitsu first, then Muay Thai. You learn those two, you're a deadly person. But if you just want to learn, I think just a self-defense, Judo. You learn Judo, 99% don't know how to hit. They just go like this. If you just hit, boom, boom, and a third shot, uppercut, they don't know how to do that. Most people, they go, oh man, you're gonna fight, boom, 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 right?
Yeah.
The person who knows Judo, they'll knock him out. They'll take him down. Like wrestlers go back and throw
slam,
you.
body slam.
Yes.
Like Francis Ngannou is more of a wrestler.
Wow, he was awesome. Remember that, what's that guy? The French guy?
The last fight he did,
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about. But the reason why Francis won that fight was because he kept body slamming.
Yes. Other guy didn't, I think hitting wise, they were about the same.
Right.
But the Frenchman just put him down. What can you do? More stronger, longer limbs? I think so. But for a while, the jiu-jitsu people, they had a hard time because a lot of people thought the longer arm, they're prone to the arm lock. So people with short arms, it's hard to get them in there.
Yeah.
But now they figure out how to do it. So now evolved a lot from Japanese jiu-jitsu to Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Now Brazilian jiu-jitsu people wins most of the times. But now it's so funny, last 5-6 years, Dagestan, the champion, who just retired, Habib. Yeah.
So one of the fighters that impresses me the most is Khabib.
Yes.
Obviously, he's recently retired. He's now owns his own brand, the Eagle FC. And
Yes.
he's trying to compete with the UFC. But that guy, throughout his tenure in the UFC, he was very dominant.
Oh yeah.
And he imposed his will. What do you think about him?
Well, that Dagestan, they go through that wrestling like when they're little, and they just practice. So what happens is, even you go to the, let's say, karate or taekwondo places, and if you just learn how to kick, punch, whatever, you are not gonna be that good. So what happens is, there's some schools in Korea or maybe even here, every day they spar. They start, as soon as you hit yellow belt, start sparring. Well, of course, you don't want to damage yourself, so they put the thing on. The more you spar, let's say you spar for 10 years, you get into real fight. Your fight and flight thing is not going to be there. But you never spar that, you just learn for 10 years.
Yeah.
Somebody just come up to you, you get scared. So these Habib in Dagestan, they wrestle every day, like probably 5-6 hours every day.
That's their hobby. That's what they do.
And they develop their muscle.
Okay.
So even me, I used to do pull-ups. Let's say I did maybe 10 pull-ups or 20 pull-ups. I didn't do it for a long time. Now I'm getting old. And then all of a sudden I said, I want to do some pull-ups. So I started and I did 6. And then within 1 month, I did 15. That muscle you develop.
Takes time.
So if you're little and you keep doing that certain muscle and takedowns, and you fight these regular people who did takedowns maybe 10 times a day, and you did 100 takedowns a day, you get in there, you're taking it down. It's always, when you see a fight, 2 wrestlers, one guy always get taken down. Isn't that funny?
Right.
Why you both wrestler, one guy take you down more? It's different kind of muscle and muscle memory.
Now tell me about sparring. What is that? What exactly happens?
So in
sparring session?
Taekwondo, it's 70% probably kicking, and you can't really hit the face in Taekwondo. It's an Olympic sport. So they have to hit, when you hit the head, I think it's a lot more points. You hit the body, it's like lower points. So it's not really fighting, but you could put it in a fighting, because if you hit a liver shot, you're done. But you hit a face with a kick, you're usually done. Right now, a lot of the UFC fighters use Taekwondo as a fighting.
Okay.
But if you never spar, when you first go, let's say you're 15 years old, your dad put you in a Taekwondo, and all of a sudden you put the yellow belt, and they say, oh, you spar, you get in. You have to follow the rules, of course, but still, with the other person, you start engaging, and they kick you, you kick back. First time it'll be like weird. But imagine you do that for many years. Okay, boom, you start fighting. So it's like fighting.
No, if they kick me, I run. That's what I would do. But
No. It's in a setting. They put you maybe similar height as you, similar age. They're not putting me at the 20-year-old. I'm old, so they fight, and maybe one time, other guys kick and my kick went boom, the shin bones. Oh my God, it hurt like crazy. I stopped doing sparring when I was 22 because after I saw one guy have broken bone, I said, okay,
you're done.
Yeah, you can do that when you're young, but UFC people, they have to do it until they retire.
Right.
I mean, literally.
I'm guess. Well, that's how you build a callus. That's how your bones toughen.
Usually, you develop the bone with a heavy bag.
Okay.
You kick your shin bone to the heavy bag every day, and then usually you have a hairline fracture, but you don't break it. You probably rest a little bit, and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger.
Oh, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So it breaks and strengthens.
Inside your hairline.
And
Yeah. You don't want to break it. But what happens is these champions people, they hit other people's bigger bone, because when you're in ankle, the top of the ankle is only this thick, but on the top, right next to the knee, is much thicker. So you hit the bottom to the top, it breaks.
Got it.
That's what happened to Anderson Silva. So there's too many, things.
Freak accidents.
Look at Jung Chan Sung. I mean, he was literally beating him. Yair had no chance, but all 3 rounds, he almost knocked him out. Yair was really suffering, but he was so agile, he just running away like rabbit. But that one desperate moment,
That's it.
right before like a couple of
I
seconds.
wouldn't call it desperate, like accidental moment, because he didn't see it coming, and he couldn't have avoided it.
But he tried that move about 3 times.
Oh, he has tried it before.
Actually, not this way, but the back way.
So
But
this is a move. It's a signature move.
he always do that. But Jung Chan Sung already avoided. But at the end, he was winning.
He got caught. He got too confident. That's what you said.
Cockiness. That's
He
what.
let his guard down.
But if you're beating all 3 rounds, and he's tired,
Yeah.
I don't care. But that one, he has long limbs too. Yeah, it's much taller and
It's got to take so much energy to generate enough force to hit him, to knock him out. He knocked him out cold.
it's like dancing move. You keep doing that dancing move,
Okay.
and you always know where the other person is, so you just move with it. Yeah, it's like some people just could dance, like break dancing, whatever. The people can't even imagine they doing it. They doing that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I think that they evolve so much now. These people are fighting machines. Before, some karate guy come, just karate, that's it. And other guy come with a wrestling, that's it. They just clash. And it's always, he make a big mistake in hitting and they put him down, they start pummeling him. Because when the first UFC started, there was no weight division. So
Okay.
Hoist fought a 300-pound guy. He was a skinny little dude. But you think you're 300 pounds, you're a good fighter. To a normal person, you're 300 pounds, you knock them out. But to a fighter, you don't know let's say some grappling or a certain way. He just pummeler, big pummeler. He doesn't know how to, when he gets choked out, he can't do nothing.
Yeah, so a fighter would seek to take advantage of other weaknesses. That because even though someone's big, there's other places that you can attack them that they can't defend themselves.
Ngannou, look at him. He's a monster.
He's big.
He
guy.
is tall. He could grapple. He could hit. He
He's
has a
quick.
stamina. I gotta,
Yeah, stamina.
You see how long his arm is? So let's say somebody boxed together, and Ngannou's gonna hit your face, and your fist will be like here. You can't beat him. No way. There are a lot of Korean fighters that's #1 champion in other places, but UFC is different. It is #1, and
Globally.
Yeah, globally. #2 is one championship now. Yeah, one championship is getting really big too.
One championship?
Yeah, it's
Where's that
really
big?
big.
It's
In Singapore.
Singapore? Really? I've never heard of it.
Before the UFC and Pride. So Japan had a Pride,
Okay.
the US had a UFC, and then I think the Zuffa, the UFC bought them out. So you had the Vandela Silva, you have the one who beat all the Sakuraba, who was a Japanese fighter that beat all the Gracies. He was from Pride. They all came. Yeah.
Oh, so UFC bought Pride?
I'm not really sure. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Pride was gone. But when there was a Pride, there was a guy named Fedor Emelianenko. He was considered #1 fighter ever when he was in prime. But now he started losing. He's 40, so he started losing.
He's done.
He's too small for heavyweight. So right now, Ngannou will kill him. Easy, but
No.
when they're
He
prime,
stand a
who
chance.
knows? Yeah, you never know. But yeah, there's so many variables in fighting.
Yeah.
I think so. Hey, one day, maybe you ate something wrong. Hey, you might,
And then you lose the fight.
yeah.
After training for months.
Yeah. It could happen. Or you get cold, or broken, toes.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Crack the bone. Well, this was fun. I think we should do it again.
All right.
Okay, tune in next time. We're gonna be watching the live event, the next UFC fight. We'll bring it to you.
Volkanovski against Chanson Park in Korean Zombie. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll be watching it together. It's Nnamdi and Vincent, and thanks for watching. If you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel
And like button.
and like it. Yeah, just smash that like button. Leave a comment in the comment section so we know what you like to watch.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
All right.